Welcome to this webinar. So how should a D2C brand fight inflation in an upcoming 6 months? This is the hot topic. My name is Mikko Rekola. I'm the Chief Evangelist here at Woolman. We are Europe's largest Shopify Plus partner, and we will try to guide you through these difficult and unsure times. So what about Woolman? Woolman is the biggest Shopify Plus partner in Europe. We've helped 300 plus brands build tons of Shopify and Shopify Plus stores. We have currently more than 100 employees, including former D2C employees. Our personnel are all across Europe. So we are truly a global player, and we are helping our customers to also get more global and sell cross-commerce. We've also developed more than 15 plus custom apps on Shopify App Store, so we know Shopify from top to bottom. Our expertise is that we are a one-stop shop, so we can do everything that is related to growth when it comes to a Shopify or Shopify Plus store. So we are doing D2C strategy. We are helping with the concepts. We have helped some very big FMCG brands or top brands. We are also doing commercial concepts, how to think commercially, how to sort of like combine that with your offering. Then we are building, developing, and expanding Shopify and Shopify Plus stores. We also have expertise with headless Shopify a lot. Then we can consult you on supply chain growth, marketing and management, and continuous success services, and including integrations. So truly, if you are willing to hear more about us, feel free to contact us at any given time. Due to the heavy customer base, inflation is the word that is rising from our customer meetings, and we decided that it would be a good possibility to have a webinar on this very hot topic. And my number one recommendation for a consultant that is working all the time with our best D2C brands is the number one advice would be to focus on your core business. Okay, well, what does this then mean? So now is the time to really go back to the basics. What's the most valuable for your customers right now? We have already seen multiple cases where our customers have, as example, get rid of product launches, brand launches, have narrowed down the scope, have revamped the whole marketing calendar for the rest of the year. So the main focus would be here that you gain enough cash flow so that the operation doesn't completely stop. We have also noticed that there are severe differences between markets. As example, the UK market seems to be very heavily hit by the inflation, when then again, like many Central European markets are bit more functional than as example the UK. So if you are running with multiple Shopify stores, make sure that you will analyze every store separately, every market separately to stay on point. Check carefully which items are still selling, which are the items that are not selling. And if you have a business management platform for that, you could easily analyze that is there any change going on in your main customer segments. From a consultancy point of view, I would definitely focus on your high CLV segments, the more loyal segments that is or has their purchase behavior in any of your markets changed. How come? What has changed? Are they still shopping the same items, different items? Is their purchase frequency different? And then you can also analyze other segments which are not as important for you when it comes to customer lifetime value, but it might be the mass. So you might have that great mass of people who are shopping just once or twice in a year from you, and have they now gotten back? And if what have they been shopping? So can you really see that there are issues in their like purchase behavior, or are they really struggling with this? It also might be that still, as we are in September, the situation is fairly solid, but it might be that throughout the winter this might change. So this is not something that you should do only now, but you should keep following on weekly or bi-weekly basis, at least by the end of this year. we've also seen that in many cases, you can see some obvious changes already happening in some of the key customer segments for D2C brands. Typically, it's something that they are, as example, swapping some of the items. They are not adding as many cross-sell or upsell items there in the cart as they used to in the past, or that there are certain customer segments who have not simply gotten back. Even though they would be part of your acquisition in automations and marketing, they are not purchasing from you. So this is sort of the red flag. And now you should analyze that. Does it affect your whole business? What's the share? And also that if these segments are not as functional as some others, then the question is what to do. So we've already had like multiple customer cases where then the merchant or the e-commerce team decides that, hey, let's try not to push this segment so much as this doesn't seem to work too well. And the most important thing here would be to report this also to your C-level management and make sure that as you are the one who is handling with the data, so that others in the company are aware of this change. And this is something where we encourage them to do so. Our basic recommendation has already been for our merchants and our brands that please avoid unnecessary actions and investments with unclear future. This is something that is easy to tell but tough to execute, and this always might take some time. My basic rule of thumb here is that the whole market has changed. We can't anymore go back to 2018-19 when you could easily sort of like understand that we are trying to do the same we did last year, plus 15-20%, and we are good. So the whole business environment has changed, at least in Europe, due to what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening after the pandemic, what's happening with uncertainty, and most importantly, what's currently happening with the purchase power and the inflation. So there is lots of uncertainty going on. So you need to probably like review the way you measure your top KPIs. And then if there are some investments where you strongly feel that these are not worth the money and these might be unsure, then our basic recommendation would be to focus on your core business. For many D2C brands, that means your online presence, your best stores, your best POS locations, and go there 100%. So that's also something that I want to point out here. And finally, laser focus on your own data. So what we see a lot is that our merchants are now finally understanding the value of data. Quite many have collected lots of and chunks of data during the pandemic. They've had like heavy customer base. So from there, you can easily do different kind of analysis. You can A/B test with data and you can focus on your own data. My basic rule here is that always first focus on your own data before looking at the market data. So the whole picture, what's happening with your competitors, super important. Yet the first place is to look at your own data. Make sure that your home base is rock solid, and only then start to do different kind of comparisons. Advice number 2 is that don't be afraid of raising the prices. And this is the most common debate we have with our customers. So if your production costs are skyrocketing, you need to adjust your prices. That's that. Then the better question is that when to do it, how to do it. And there is nothing wrong with changing the prices per se. So do the new prices mean less sales? That's the most common question, and it might be, but it should also be about your margins and the facts that if you are not making any profit or any money with your products anymore, then you simply need to raise the prices. You can do that in a single time, or you can do that gradually. And try to think that, do I do this for a certain category, certain batch, or how to really make this happen? We've seen multiple approaches here, but the basic thing is that if your main items are so much more expensive to get and you need to really like struggle with the supply chain, then most likely you also need to increase prices. And then the big question is that, okay, you have raised your prices, but there is also inflation going on. So people who earn, as example, 2,000 a month, they can afford items that are getting more expensive, and can they? And that's the big question. Yet you have to think about your own business first and make sure that you are at least making some profit. We've seen in quite many cases that the profit margins are getting more narrow, and that's also a big question that you need to do. That will you go with more narrow margin and still have enough demand, or are you going with the same margin and then that might mean that some customers won't anymore afford you, or they are just buying from you with a lower frequency. Then the question is that how to push forward a pricing change. This is the one that people keep asking me on a daily basis, and we've seen multiple approaches. Number one would be that you are still running some kind of a campaign that you can still get these with the old price. Next week there will be updated prices, or some are doing it more gradually and testing it out in different categories on their Shopify Plus store. It depends on the case, what's the approach you want to do. But my basic assumption here is that you would want to do some kind of A/B testing in pricing, and A/B testing how to do it before you push it live everywhere. We've also seen multiple cases where they have just like overnight or during the weekend increased their prices by 5% or 10% or 7%. So that's also one approach that one might want to take. So there is no like single right or wrong answer, but I think like those things are the ones that you want to discuss. And then the question that is somewhat related, that is there a possibility for a campaign here? Yes, we've seen tons of these, and my personal assumption is that we will see more and more these upcoming months. So definitely there is a strong possibility here. What I would recommend is that you would need to stay top with your own data. With constant changes happening, businesses need to be able to react on what's the environment. And as a few minutes ago discussed, this is now something that is happening. So you can't be that comfortable that you just rely on what happened last year or the year prior and then trust that you will get that certain growth. But we've noticed that businesses need to pivot more than before, which means that they need to do major changes in their whole strategy. It might be that they are doing product launches in a different way, or their whole customer base has changed. I've noticed few cases where, as example, in clothing companies, they are selling to both kids and adults, and it seems that the kids market is now stuck. So they are now focusing more on the adults, or in jewelry, they are not focusing on the cheaper end. They are now focusing on the more higher end jewelry, as that seems to work better than the lower end where there is tough competition and lousy margins. So it also depends on the business case where you are at. Our recommendation here would be that make sure that your own data is solid. So when running on Shopify or Shopify Plus, you are very, very safe. That's the beauty of Shopify's checkout, when you get all of these fields together and you get that data together. But then the question is that, okay, how should I handle my data? Quite many are sending that in manual Excels, which is not anymore today, or we try to avoid that with our customers. Our basic recommendation is that you need to have some kind of a business management / BI tool to really analyze the data to make sure that there are no errors that are man-made. So that's something that we feel strongly about. And also make sure that you would collect some kind of first-party data that would add those vital data points just for your business. It can be that it's the age, it's the sex, it's the location, it can be the education background, it can be your purchase interests. You need to collect those, and that's now the like sort of the final moments when you need to activate if you haven't done this already. There are multiple solutions for this. It can be just like Yotpo or Loyalty Lion. It can be a loyalty program where you're collecting these data points. It also can be that for the Plus merchants, you can modify the checkout with a expertise partner so that you're collecting one or more data points there, which are vital for your business. It also can be a post-purchase survey, loved by all of our D2C brands, that instantly after the purchase, they are asking you a question, and then you get the vital data point. Or then you can do more old school questionnaires. All of those strongly recommended, because then you are getting that rock solid first party data where you can then build your business on. And if you need to do pivoting or any changes, then it's always better that you already have those data points in place, because these days you can't anymore trust on Google or Facebook and their data. It's not as reliable as it used to be. And my basic example here would be a product ABC analysis, where you can easily analyze your products. For Shopify Plus merchants, that's also already a feature on Shopify's own analytics part, but that's not done so much in depth. Our solution, which we are doing with Ellis, which I will shortly present, is doing a much more thorough analysis on all of your products. What we see a lot is that our customers keep reordering items that are not moving, which is like, again, a big red flag. You don't want to get to your stock items that people don't purchase. And it can be about the print, it can be about the size, but typically there are like certain factors that you should analyze and make sure that you will be more flexible, more agile when doing all of your supply chain in this changed economy. I will shortly talk about Ellis. Elisa is our business management platform that is developed only for Shopify Plus brands. We have co-created it with some of the best brands on the market, and now all of our customers more or less are using Alice. The beauty is that we are actually reading all of your Shopify Plus data from multiple stores and putting that into one, which eases the analysis and makes sure that we get all of your vital data points here to a single customer view. So we can analyze one individual, one product, or whole of your D2C operations. And based on this, we can more easily understand that if there are major changes in your key customer segments, but also that what's happening in the big and great picture when it comes to warehouse, when it comes to products, when it comes to returns, when it comes to payments, when it comes to logistics, everything here is covered. So we are looking at the big picture here. And with all of that, we can truly help our customers to fight the inflation and fight the uncertainty. And with our consultancy services together with this platform, our customers are very much spot on, and they can do quick reactions to a very changing and evolving economy. If you're struggling with data, if you want to know more about Ellis, feel free to visit ellis.is, or you can also be directly in touch with me and book a demo. So for all of you Shopify Plus brands there, feel free if you want to know more about data games, struggling with data, struggling with the inflation, and that is data related, want to understand your own figures better, feel free to contact us, and we are more than keen to help you out. If you have any questions, now would be the perfect time to ask any. If you still come up with questions after this session, feel free to reach out. We are keen to help you out. Woolman.co is the page where you find us, and ellis.is is our website for our business management platform, Ellis. Our last thing is that I wish you a really good week. I hope that you can fight the inflation. I hope that you are on top with your own audiences, and I hope you do very best. Have a great one. Take care.